I think that we have joining us on the telephone Mr. Jim Gaffigan. Is that possible? Jim, is that you?
I'm here. I'm your roving reporter.
Oh, my gosh. We got you on the TV. This is awesome.
Hi, Jim.
Hey, Jim.
Hi, how are you guys?
Good, how are you?
I'm reporting from one of America's beautiful airports, and I just want to report that everyone's miserable here.
Good. And did we interrupt your breakfast?
I got a bagel. I'm not hungry, but, I'm in the lounge, and I got to try and make my money's worth, right?
Right. Mr. Jim Gaffigan is one of the great comedians in America and the world, and he's on the road. Jim's got a bunch of shows coming up, including, if I'm not mistaken, tomorrow, Cedar Rapids, then Fort Wayne coming up on Saturday. Lots of other great spots coming up. Is this a solo show, or you don't have the kids tagging along, do you? They're in school, I assume?
No, they're not with me. There is a God, and they are not with me. Today is actually the first official day of school in New York City, because they, I don't know, like in the South, they start in June.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's the first official day, but they had a lot of, come in and meet people and then, inconvenience your parents for their day, so we had that. But I don't know if I'm yelling here.
You're fine. You're fine. We can hear you just fine. Are you doing like math homework with them and stuff?
I try to do that stuff. I mean, my kids are taking Mandarin, because I want them to be communists. It's just, these 5 kids, you guys, I made such an enormous mistake. There's just too much work to do. It's just, and I know that there's probably some listeners right now that don't have children, and some people choose to not have kids, and I respect that, but I don't think they should be considered adults, because they're not, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, what keeps them up at night? Are they worried, what am I going to eat for lunch tomorrow? Because real parents, we're not getting any rest, and it's just torture.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm a bundle of sunshine.
Jim Gaffigan is our guest.
I'll tell you what is a bundle of sunshine, Jim, is that movie of yours with one of my favorites, Rhea Seehorn. It's called Linoleum, and it's on the streaming services right now. It's a wonderful
Oh, well,
movie.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, that is a good one, right?
That's a good one, yes.
The Chappaquiddick movie's a good one, too. Jim is in that.
Yes.
Jim
Surprise
Gaffigan.
ending in that. He let the air out of the tires. In Chappaquiddick.
Yeah, who knew?
Didn't he do that?
Who knew?
Yeah. That was an interesting take, but I thought it worked in the movie. Yeah.
Jim Gaffigan's current tour is called the Barely Alive Tour.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
Just positive vibes. Just positive. I've gone from the guy that only talks about food to that just complains about his kids. So it's
Mr. Gaffigan is going to be on stage Cedar Rapids at the Alliant Energy Powerhouse on Friday night, and then Saturday night Fort Wayne at the Allen County War Memorial Coliseum. Lots of other gigs coming up, including October 20th in Louisville at the Louisville Palace, and that's going to be 2 nights. Or maybe, 2 nights, and 3 different shows. That's awesome. Now this is all new stuff. I know from reading about your tour, but you do have to do a couple of salutes to some of the classics, right?
Well, I've been kind of steering away from that, but there is definitely a panic that sets in when you get done with an hour, because there is an unspoken agreement that people that are coming to show are going to see great new material. But I used to do some. I mean, I've been doing stand-up for 130 years. This is my first year.
Wow.
So I used to do the classics, and then people. I'm lucky enough. People have come to shows a couple times, so I always have to mix it up. So I can't even pull out the Hot Pockets, because they're like, hey, you did that the last time. So I have to I have to learn magic or something. I don't know.
Now, when you're a very fine, serious actor. When you're on the sets of these movies, do they expect you to be funny all the time during the breaks?
Yeah, there is something about, it's like, I mean, obviously I've been on your show many times, but it is the same vibe, like everyone's friendly, but everyone's got stuff to do. But there is some horsing around. I'm not like, a prankster like George Clooney or anything like that. But I have no short-term or long-term memory. So I'm usually obsessing on my lines. But yeah, no, I definitely have fun because it's just there's the acting thing, you sit around for like 10 hours. You know what I mean? Like, I love bringing my kids because they think it's so fancy. And then they get there and they're like, this is horrible. Because it's boring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Chick McGee gave a great review to a movie one time. I'll never forget it. He said he was watching this film and he thought, wow, that looks like a really beautiful day they're wasting making this terrible movie.
What a beautiful day.
But Mr. Gaffigan is a great actor and a terrific stand-up comedian. I can give him a double thumbs up. If I had 3 thumbs, I'd take the other one and put it up too.
All right.
Always a great pleasure to speak to you, Jim. Thanks so much for taking the time. Have a great flight.
Yeah.
And again, the first 2 shows are coming up. It's Cedar Rapids Friday evening, and then Fort Wayne coming up tomorrow night, and the tickets are available, all the usual stuff. And then, is that a Mets hat you got on there?
It is, well, I try to only wear losing teams. It was this morning. It was like 5 a.m. and I'm like, I need a hat. And because I didn't shower, I'm not going to wake up early and shower. So I got the baseball cap, and because I've got a huge head. And but yeah, no, it's that's the problem with sports things. People assume you're the biggest fan in the world, and I do love. I'm more of a football guy than a baseball guy, but it's like people are like, hey, how about that team this year? I'm like, I have no idea. I have no idea.
Lastly, do you ever bet on football?
Gambling's the only addiction I don't have. And that implies I'm addicted to heroin, by the way. No, I would say no. I feel like I'm the only one who doesn't. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think the Colts are going to be this year? Chick, what do you think of the Colts? I know he's probably all Commanders. But.
Yeah, I am, but I think Willie's with me on
Willie's
this.
our Colts
7 or 8 or 9 wins.
Oh, dude, I'm like 4 wins. It's going to be a lot of fun, but it's going to be real messy.
It all hinges on Tony, that hunky quarterback we got, Tony Richardson. So
I'm excited.
I don't know. Yeah.
Jim, did you play college football?
There is a picture of Jim Gaffigan in his Purdue uniform floating around the internet. You owe it to yourself.
Yeah, I think
Look it up and hang it up at your workplace.
I mean, barely. I walked on at Purdue, and then I played Division III, but I was not good at all. I was just kind of. My older brother was good at football, so I just kind of did it and just followed. All right, I'll do it. You know what I mean? And but it is misleading because it looks like I'm like starting for the Boilermakers, but
All right, Jim, it's always a great pleasure. Thank you so much. See you.
Thanks so much. You guys have a good one.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I saw Jim on his last tour. It was incredible.